Are we going to jump in or are we going to I'm so nervous.
Wow.
I don't know. It's like my first episode ever.
Oh.
I think it's just because I came out of car purchasing purgatory. Is there, honestly, we can even
You're not even
ask,
how are you even in the market for it? You just got into a brand new car.
Hey, don't hang me out to dry.
Cujo. Yes?
Is there anything more stressful than you had a really great situation.
Oh, yeah.
Yours was he brought you a picnic basket and he's like, why don't you go lay down in the grass and I'll bring you your vehicle, madame. And
but I was in the perfect position to buy a car. You're not, because you just got one.
Right. But yours was had doggified. There was some mileage in that back seat.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. I didn't look
Did
at any
they
of
say
the
anything?
numbers.
Did they say anything about that?
No, because it's just dirt. I used to get it cleaned all the time. I'm serious. After it'd get cleaned, because I cleaned it right before I gave it to them, it looks great.
But it wasn't just dirt. It's got to get scratched and stuff like that.
Wasn't that bad.
Really? What do you
have trim nails.
Well, excellent. So anyway, so if I'm a little edgy, it's because I'm just decompressing after coming back from, I didn't make any choices. I didn't do anything. I was just I like vehicles.
Yeah,
and
it was just, I didn't expect it. Yesterday you were like, oh, I'm busy doing something. And I was like, what is he doing?
I was like, I'll call you back in a while. And honestly, I just wanted to go look. I was just really intrigued to look just because I haven't seen one in person, and this would be the Jag F-Type R, and so I just wanted to take a look at it. And of course you take a look and then they're like, how about a test drive?
Exactly.
And you're like, how did this web get so thick?
It literally
and how
feels
am I stuck in this, and a coffee? And I was like, well, God, this is great. Now I feel like an important person. They have a Starbucks, and this is called, it's a Galpin Ford, Galpin Jag, Galpin Lincoln. They basically own the West Valley. It's a giant complex. They have a restaurant. They built a coffee shop, Galpin Restaurant.
Oh my gosh.
So you can go and have French toast. It's such a complete, comprehensive experience.
They want you to get comfortable.
Yeah, and so I walk in, they're like, coffee from Starbucks. I was like,
yes, please.
You don't say. Even if I don't buy a car, I get a Starbucks, I get wine and dine. So anyways, if I'm a little edgy, it's because I've been in car contemplation land. I actually did an Instagram stories today on it. I don't know if you saw it or not, but I was just having a little fun with poking around the car and stuff like that.
Oh, cool.
So don't hate on me. Don't hate on me. Celebrate. The Porsche's still out there, and she's still my girl. But just contemplating, just
dating.
I just love cars. We were talking about it today. We both love cars, and so I'll always be drawn to fancy vehicles.
We got cars at the same time, and I've had 4 cars to his 1.
Wow.
4.
Yeah.
I just keep you're
evolving. And the funny thing is,
this car that I got, oh my gosh,
it's going to be there a while.
I don't know. The guy told me, he's like, you're going to have this for longer than you've had your other cars. I was like, no, you don't know me. He's like, trust me. And I was like, he's like, the technology's ahead of its time, so you're going to be ahead of people by the time.
Right. So you got a cushion. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. 9.
You hear that?
Quick intro.
So
jump into this.
Yeah, because you got to edit tonight like nobody's business. Okay.
It's my issue. I'm sorry.
Well, you were doing the
No, it's none of that.
It's none of that? Mm-mm. No?
No, you're just learning and taking
You're
classes
just learning?
at the hospital.
When you say learning, expand on that.
You're learning about the process of like,
Where babies come from?
no, basically like when you get into the hospital, like how long it takes, what's normal. It's like
A lot of preparation for like what to expect.
yeah.
That's
so
cool.
it's not like breathing and all that. Like there was a little of that, but it's more like, okay, once you start having this type of contractions, this is when you
It's all
come
prep then.
Yeah. It's
Cool.
prep and getting you ready for like, so the experience isn't like
Stressed out.
crazy.
That's cool then.
And they don't have people rushing in there being like, I'm ready. And they're like, you're not ready.
Right. And what was the name of that program? Lamaze, right? That was back like in my day. That was like everybody was doing that.
My dad talked about that to us. He's like, if you didn't take that class, it was like child abuse. Like at the time, with like everyone, and there were all these like dads in the class.
All I can see is your dad like blindfolded, like with like tears coming out. Like just that must have been the worst thing ever for him.
The worst thing ever, probably for every day.
He probably spent a lot of time in therapy, like working through that. Anyway, so it's been good for you. You're prepped.
great.
You're ready. Okay.
Last night was the graduation.
Awesome. Congratulations. You're going to have a baby. Which brings us to something kind of interesting, and that's that this could be the last Q&A.
Ever?
No, but for an extended period of time. This could be the last Q&A. Like, say you were to,
into labor.
say you were to be reading a question that infuriated you, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, and off you go. That this might not even be the last one. We may not get through this one, but I'm just saying that like it could be that next week you're incapacitated with child.
My doctor says I'll be on time or late.
Yeah, doctors, schmoctors, what do they know?
I bet we have 2 more episodes in us.
You think so? Wow, okay.
That's my bet.
Okay. Everybody, you heard that.
I would love for it to happen sooner.
Yeah.
Just because I'd love for
It to be gone?
this period to be maybe
Moved on?
Yeah, but
Okay, so could be the last Q&A, unless Loris Doctor's right on the money, then we might get to squeeze in another 2. But at some point, we're probably going to have to do like either not best ofs, but probably like go back and revisit some old stuff.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to have to get down and dirty and just like, maybe I'll do it with like all the TGD crew.
that's what I'm saying.
And
That
just
would
like
be
have them all
so
gather
fun.
around and...
You could just set up your little tripod and just do it, have it like be one long thing and then just upload it to YouTube.
Yeah.
Like one basically live.
Could do that. It will be ghetto, but we could
I'm
do it.
thinking of putting together some like best ofs. Like some like, just like 2 episodes that are like best
Yeah,
ofs.
that's a lot of work though. So.
Well, no, I mean, I can grab like a few questions and we could see.
Okay, cool. All right, so it may not be our last one for a while. There's been some pretty awesome videos that have gone up. We've like, I was quiet because the whole thing like with Junior, so it was kind of like out for a week, and all I did was post Junior stuff. But we're back with a vengeance, and now we posted up some serious stuff that got a ton of play. That Teddy video. Everybody wanted to know if I need to go see the urologist, if he like nailed me in the stuff. There's a lot of like muzzle punching, a lot of trying to bite feet, trying to bite other places, and so that video seemed to strike a chord with a lot of people.
Yeah, he's creepy in that video. I think that's what got a lot of people.
But I think you'd agree that like in the grand scheme of things, the dogs we deal with, that wasn't like that big of a deal. But
No, it's just bizarre behavior. I think a lot of people were just like, "Ooh, it's kind of weird." Oh my god!
Oh, guys, I wish you could see. Come over here and just lean in the camera real quick. Guess who's going to Disneyland? All the way over. All the way over. Yeah. Disneyland. All right.
Watch the cord. Oh, she's so cute.
Have fun.
Cute boots.
Squeeze Mickey Mouse's butt for me.
I bet you're so mischievous at Disneyland. I bet she is.
She probably knows all the ins and outs and the secrets.
Yeah.
She goes like what, every week or something like that.
Bye.
She's got her ears. Sweet.
Literally, like what we were just talking about is that we just did a video with her teaching like e-collar Halo, like mastering this dog.
Yeah.
Now she's running to Disneyland with like ears on.
Yeah, giggling, chuckling
yeah.
the whole
She's the
time,
best,
and like, and even when she was working with Casey,
Yeah,
and,
she's
yeah, like Casey's pulling, you see her like lean down and lean into it. It's just like she's just kicking ass. Okay, so we posted up some pretty great videos. The Teddy video really caught a lot of attention. The way you put the video together actually had a big impact on people. The cards, the way the graphics felt, and then of course the sound effects behind it.
Yeah.
Like, not to be like too manipulative, but it definitely contributed.
bit.
Yeah, I think a
sure.
lot of people were really like, ooh, man, this video's got some vibe to
yeah.
it. And then of course when you have a dog that's trying to bite the bejesus out of you, it always like lends a certain
Yeah.
like
That
gravity to
whole
the
thing.
situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Teddy, that was up a few days ago, and everybody was like, what do you do with the muzzle? How do you move him off the muzzle? How do you get him from here to here? So I answered a bunch of those questions today on Facebook. But more importantly, I just posted up a video of Teddy working, and you haven't even seen it yet, but out in the front yard, me shooting video, him right next to us, wagging the tail, nervous and secure, but doing awesome stuff, overriding all the stuff.
awesome.
Like Henri's like, he's recalling around, he's not fleeing, it's not like fight or flight where he's like taking off from the corners.
He's a real nervous dog.
Oh my God, yeah. So the whole process has been like overriding that, repatterning. But he's like boogieing around in place and like
great.
coming out of his shell. It's gonna be a slow process. He's not gonna look like Mr. $1 million straight away.
Yeah.
But like he's not biting, and he's starting to look happier and a little bit more confident. So that's great. Casey, we posted a before and after video within 24 hours, which is really cool. For any of you who don't believe us, it's the truth. That video went up the day before, and or the day of that we started working with Casey, and we just kind of let Casey do her stuff, and then we went out the next day. I shot video of Henri working with Casey, and then we did walk-bys within, I'd say full tilt, that was probably 45 minutes, maybe an hour tops or something like that. So it shows you what you can really get with e-collar heel and the structured walk and the whole deal. Like everybody's like, hey, you guys are magicians. But we're not magicians.
No.
It's just simple kind of protocols and tools and approach. So anyways, check out those videos if you haven't. There's some really great stuff. I'm sorry. The video that you cut of Henri showing
Teaching.
what she did with Casey is really cool.
Yeah.
You put some really nice graphics on the side.
Yeah.
And so any of you who are working through reactivity or e-collar training your dog, you can watch this. There's other videos we have, but this is really great to like watch Henri working through it and see that it's like this. It's not perfect.
No.
The dog's like, oh, there's a point where the dog sees a squirrel or a cat or something.
And you have to move slow and kind of like work around that stuff, not be like, oh, come on, you should know. It's like, no, first session, you got to move really slow.
Yep, slow and pattern. And it came down to like the big thing I tried to get across in that video and in the text was that Henri was primarily working against arousal stuff. That pittie like vibrates up here.
Right.
So the whole goal was, how do we get her down? And we tried a million different things to try and get her into that spot, which I also put in the video, like text some at the bottom, the actual post. But what worked really nicely were 180s with the e-collar, and that really slowed her down and got her into focus. So that's great. A couple other things. So Laura just did an awesome phone consult yesterday with a friend, David.
Right.
And he was working like what program? Give me a quick view. Program structure
he was
or
looking at program structure, like how to structure his one-on-ones versus his board and train and stuff like that. He's a trainer and he's got a great business and stuff, but he was finding I don't want to give too much, but he basically was just not sure about or trying to give way too much in the one-on-ones, trying to get too much done and not finding enough time, which is a really common thing with great trainers.
And what did you say is like not his specific thing, but an example of like kind of focus-wise how you can get in trouble? Yeah,
I think what happens is trainers, and we used to do this, get obsessed with like, oh, I got to get through all the behaviors in those 5 sessions, you know?
Yeah.
So I only have this and this, but say the dog is a mess on a walk or has tons of trouble inside the house recalling to place, you need to work more on that stuff, and maybe you won't get to like off-leash recall or a down even on the e-collar. Like maybe that will have to be later or sessions added on. But in the 5 hours, I think a lot of trainers feel like they need to be perfect
and get through a whole set of protocols. I think
that thing of like, if a client is going to choose one-on-ones, if the dog works for one-on-ones or board and train, the client's going to choose one-on-ones. It's going to be a lower price point, less time. They're going to have to do more work, and maybe you won't get the same product as you would with like a board and train sort of thing.
Absolutely. So cool. What I wanted to make sure that you guys know, and I don't know if we have anything to link up except like
an email address.
Okay, good. We do have something. So, which is basically if any of you are interested in phone consults with either one of us or together as a team, business consults, we're happy to help you guys work through business stuff, marketing, branding, infrastructure, websites, SEO, all sorts of different stuff like that. We're also available for what else did I have down here? Of course, training. Sorry, the obvious one. We also have training stuff. So if you've got training issues, we can obviously do that.
You can send us videos. We check out the videos. However much time the videos take up, that takes out of the time of your 1 hour phone consult or whatever.
Right.
But a lot of people just send like 5 minutes worth of videos, so it's no big deal.
So we've got business, we've got training, and then any kind of life stuff. And that might sound cheesy, but like if you're working on goals, if you're struggling with any other kind of mental, emotional blocks, anything like that, feel free to set up time. And like I said, you can schedule with both of us or individually. And people tend to get some really nice stuff out of the consults.
They're really fun. They're fun for us.
Yeah, so we get a fair amount, and it's always nice to help people. So that said, I think it's time to jump into the show. Okay.
Hit it.
Hey everybody, it's Sean from The Good Dog, and to my left is the lovely the lovely nude Laura Morgan.
Well, I'm not nude.
She's not nude. She will be in the hospital room soon, right? Well, they'll put a little blankie or something, a little gown on you, or something that's really like demeaning, something like that. And all the stuff you can't see, Baldocious, Manny, and Scoundrels, and all that stuff is the Good Dog's Q&A. Here we go. Oh, it's going that direction. Okay, gotcha.
Always.
It seems like it should go that way.
For you.
Yeah, but is it for this camera?
Yeah.
Is that what we're doing?
No, it's going to go that way for them.
That's what I'm saying. Like, see, I'm coming from my perspective. It's always about me.
It's just weird, like.
No. Like, if we're holding up, if me and you were sitting here, we're like, hold up 110, you'd be like, boom, boom, and I'd be like that.
But I'm just saying, it's been
what?
110.
So, but just this might be a transitional point.
I get it.
This might be a transformational moment right now.
Could be.
So, the sarcasm is starting to like peak. So when we do this, real quick, it's always it's in the direction for them.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
Great. Ready to move on? Let's do it. Where's that snowman? Cookie. Cute. Those are really good. Does everybody know about that? What are they? Just the Starbucks frosted
cookies? Yeah.
Everybody knows about them.
I don't know.
Is there any chance of heating those up?
I don't think so. They're shortbread.
So they probably don't work so well.
And the icing would probably melt.
Man, those are so good. Anyways,
Question number 1.
Let's move on. We're dragging a bit.
Question number 1 comes from Valerie.
It's our last one, so we might as well take our time.
2 more, I bet. Valerie says, hi from Belize again.
Stop rubbing our nose in your Belize action.
Yeah. Sasha, my 70-pound pit, has possession and territorial issues, barking, biting, lunging, and general psychotic dog behavior in the house. He has to be leashed or put away when guests, specifically men, come over. Thanks to his pleasant attitude, guests are few and far between these days.
Yes.
We utilize his crate, duration, place, and he's on a prong. We have an e-collar, but I haven't gotten to that part of our training. I'm scared, but I'll pull myself together soon. Outside of the house, he's a doll. He walks in a heel, sits, great at daycare, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, we're moving into a new house next month, and I'm wondering if you have any tips on how to properly introduce him to our new place. Are there things I should be doing to ensure he doesn't think the new house is his to protect and keep people out of? Also, this new place has a giant yard, and I'd love to get him a playmate. Am I crazy to get another one before he's 100%? In general, he plays well with other dogs, but he does get a bad attitude around food and toys. Thanks, guys.
Right. Okay.
Bad attitude.
Ms. Valerie. Okay. So, first off, I'd get into e-collar training ASAP. Right? So you're going to be transitioning into a new place, and I think anytime you're moving into a new place, it's a super awesome opportunity to kind of reset things and start anew, start fresh. So I would take major advantage of that. I know you don't have a ton of time, but you could definitely start getting into e-collar training and start making some things happen. I would be going for full commands. Don't just go for like problem solving with small stuff. Sit, down, place, recall, heel, thresholds, anything I'm missing. I think those are the biggies, right? Go for all of those, and go for all of those proofed at a really high level. Hold your dog like to the highest level of compliance for that stuff. Proof it and make him look like $1 million, right? If you want to get your dog out of the zone of like, you know, possessive, territorial, I mean, that's bad news. That's a dog that can easily bite somebody. And I think she said she's not having guests over or anything like that. So that's a drag, and that's not how you should be living, and it's not comfortable for your dog. So the e-collar work could absolutely help to kind of turn that around. You're gonna have to jump in, you're gonna have to either get help from a pro, or you're gonna have to dive into like our free videos or Jeff's free videos or a DVD, something like that. You can link it up at www.thegooddog.net, and there's a ton of help there. So for your new house, I'd love for you to treat it like a board and train, your own personal board and train. A lot of people get caught up in like, we bring a new dog into the house and we have to like let him explore and see the house. Hey, this is our house, let me share it with you. It's the worst way to start off with a dog that you've got any issues with. If you've got a Cupcake, if you got Belle who's snoring over here, or Manny, and you want to let them roam through the house, you're not going to have any problems with that. But a dog that's already exhibiting issues, territorial, possessive stuff, not exacerbated, any not accelerated, any excessive access. I can't find the right word.
Excessive access.
Any excessive access to your home, to your personal space, affection, any of that stuff is only going to reinforce what you don't want for your dog. Territorial possessive stuff comes from having access to patrol the territory and make bad choices, and possessive stuff comes from being able to own and claim things, whether it's humans or other stuff like that. So it's super duper important that you don't allow that stuff to go on. So for the new house, treat it like a board and train, and I mean I would do it literally like what we do. You want to get like major stuff, you want this dog to be in a great space, you want to have friends over, you want to like not be in a spot where you're like worried, concerned your dog's going to bite somebody, and you really like want to do the work and move through. Here's what you do. Crate your dog anytime your dog is not working, right? Like, I'm going to give you what we would do. Anytime your dog's not working, he's in a crate. Otherwise, he's working or he's on walks, limited movement and access in your house, zero roaming. The limited access means like you're going to take him out to like potty or something like that, or it's feeding time or whatever it's going to be. But there's zero wandering around your house if you want to get his mindset into the right spot. You don't need to let him explore for him to feel fulfilled and happy and part of the family. That's another like BS kind of like thing that's been really propagated.
Just so much structure.
Yeah, so much structure. No unsupervised playtime. It almost looks like party time. So no unsupervised party time or playtime in the yard. If you've got territorial stuff, like a big yard with a pittie that's already in this kind of zone, he's going to go bananas and start claiming all of it, barking at fences, fence fighting with other dogs, all that stuff. Do not allow any of this, which is going back to my first thing. If you e-collar trained him, at least recall in that short amount of time, which you can absolutely do. You could call him away from the stuff that he's doing that's inappropriate. You could correct and call him away, and you could really make a huge change in how he perceives your backyard. But boy, would I love you to be able to like give him a firm correction for like rushing the door and being a jackass or growling or staring or posturing at anybody. You gotta make the bad choices uncomfortable, and you've got to make the good choices comfortable. Keep it simple, and your job is to find out how do you do it and what tools do you utilize to make that happen. Obviously, e-collar is going to be the best way for that to happen. Zero affection, that's going to be a hard one. Typically, we rarely see possessive territorial stuff, especially with like female stuff, if it hasn't been reinforced through a lot of affection, softness, and heart stuff.
And that doesn't mean that that's forever. You never pet your dog again. That's not what we're saying at all.
In my program, it does.
If you want that sort of like, you want that good start with the place, you need to start fresh and kind of like back to basics, pretend the dog's in a board and train, like Sean's saying, and then you can start to ease off as the dog starts to earn it.
Yeah, but he's really got to earn it.
Yeah.
Right? And mainly what I'm concerned about is like if you've got these symptoms already, I'm curious about what you've done to create those symptoms. So that's something for you to really honestly check in with yourself. So zero affection. He should have zero personal access. Once again, not forever, but climbing into your lap, moving into your space, laying on your feet, anything like that. No, 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 no. That's how you get possessive dog. Put him in place and put him far away from you so he gets used to physical distance, emotional distance, and so on. I already talked about not letting him roam in the yard. That's super important. This is really coming down to like tough love time. Like, you want to turn this around, I guarantee you send this dog to me and that dog lives with me, that dog would not be engaging in that stuff.
Right.
Not because I'm a hard ass, but because I would make sure that I do all the stuff that we've cultivated in our board and train, which I just gave you all the secrets, in order to make the dog like woof, really move into a great space and at a more accelerated rate. So a couple more things, then I'll let you off the hook. The question was then, am I crazy for wanting to bring in a second dog when the other dog is not 100%? The answer here is yes, you are crazy. Absolutely, Valerie. Are you crazy? We've got a dog that you said has got resource guarding, protective stuff around certain items and things like that. You cannot bring in another, like you got a pittie, you're going to bring in another like dog or pittie into a situation where this dog is not highly respectful, highly deferential, just in a really great, solid, just rock and roll space, and you're going to bring another dog in, you're going to have fights in no time. So it's not that you're crazy in your dream, it's crazy in that your timeline is absolutely not ready. Your dog is not ready for that.
And you're just not ready. Just don't push the envelope. Have some fun with getting your one dog in a great space.
Yeah.
And then bring another dog in when you have when it's more in control. But right now it's just going to be double trouble, man. Even if you get this great dog, there's going to be influence. You're going to have a new house, new situation. It's a lot.
It really is. It really is. So I'm poking fun with you a little bit about you being crazy. Obviously, you're not crazy. That goal is an admirable goal, but not until you have your other dog that's problematic at a fairly high level. 100%.
Yeah.
When that's how you earn it. You want another dog? Earn it by kicking your other dog's butt into a good space to where he's really listening, really responsive, really respectful, and then you've got a shot at having two dogs cohabitate that are not going to fight.
Totally.
Right now, you got a lot of the deck stacked against you.
Yeah.
So I hope that helps, and
let us know how it goes.
Yeah, I think it's Laura Morgan's time.
Oh, yes. All right, thanks. All right. Question number 2.
Yeah.
This comes from
Our bookkeeper.
Mandy. Not a bookkeeper.
Sean, do not get another car. Mandy, how'd you get here?
All right. Mandy says she has a GST puppy who's 16 weeks old.
How did you end up with this question?
16 weeks old, so 4 months. I can do the math.
That's
just started e-collar training her using, well, it's good because there is the reason why I said that. Well, we'll get to it. Okay. Using a level 7 on a mini educator as the working level. With food, she knows recall commands 100%, so she definitely knows it. With the long lead prong, she's about 75% until I put pressure on the prong, then it's 100%. With the collar, it's about 25%. I'm assuming that's with the e-collar.
I don't know.
What do I do if she chooses not to listen to the command? Do I pump up the level or go back to the prong and work it more? Do I use both prong and e-collar? She often plays with items, plays keep away with items too. I've taught her drop it, but when she's wound up and running around, she totally ignores my commands. Maybe I'm asking too much of her at 16 weeks. I want to keep my expectations high, but she's getting big fast. I need to keep or sometimes get control over her. Okay. So, Miss Mandy, let me turn on my timer. Okay, so this is it's a weird one because 16 weeks, 4 months, the reason I say that is because you're starting to get up to the point where you're not going to use weeks anymore, right? The dog will soon be 6 months, and you can call it 6 months. And that's because it's going to start becoming more of a dog. And of course, she's getting bigger, and you're seeing that, right? So it's a hard line because we do work with dogs that are 4 months, 4 to 5 months. We e-collar train them fully and get them all accountable and all that stuff. I think without knowing kind of where your skills are and where everything is for you, I would say, and I also don't know how long you've been working with her. I would say take your time and pattern everything more at this point. You may disagree with me on this, but I always feel like with a puppy, you want to hold them accountable, especially as they're nearing towards like doghood. You want to hold them accountable, but you also need to give them the benefit of the doubt because they've got a lot of stuff going on, like a lot of like distractible, like life is brand new, a lot of stuff going on. And the sessions need to be shorter. You know, there's like attention span stuff. They've got fear periods still to go. There's definitely some stuff that you're kind of up against that you wouldn't be if it was like a year-old dog. So if this dog was 9 months, a year, I would say you need to dial up the levels a little bit, especially if you know that she knows it, and you need to correct her a little bit higher and proof her. But right now, what I would say, because I don't know how long you've been working, you know, I assume you've probably only been working for a little bit because the dog's young and...
she doesn't really say, does she?
Yeah, I would say you just keep patterning, use the prong, use the leash pressure like you've been doing. I would fade out the food at this point because she's obviously like, oh, well, I'm happy to do it for food. I would do it with the pressure with the prong and continue to use the e-collar on top of that. My big point is don't just rise up levels just because you know she knows it, because we kind of have to give her that benefit of the doubt. Now, with a ton of patterning, your coffee's here?
Cookie delivery.
With a ton of patterning and continued stuff, I would say at like 5.5, 6 months is when we can start being like, all right, we've given this a few months now, a lot of time, you definitely know it. So the levels are going to go up. They're not going to go way up, but say you're at like 7 now, maybe you start working like, if she doesn't drop it, you know, a tap on 15, but that's like after a ton more patterning and all that stuff.
Right.
So it's a hard one because like the dog may be in this space of like, you know, kind of being bratty, but it's kind of age appropriate. So we have to kind of ride that line. Tons more patterning. Again, I don't know how long you've been doing this. I would wait till about 5.5, 6 months till you start to like move levels up and start like holding more accountability. If you've done a couple months, by then you would have done a couple months of training with all the patterning. Dogs should be in a good place to be held more accountable. So just move slow with these guys. I know it can be like, oh my gosh, you're getting big, and I know you know it. Yeah, they know it, but they're also like, there's so much new stuff.
So much noise.
Yeah, and there's so much like going on in the brain that we kind of have to be like, okay, let's ride the line here. Just the fact that you have put e-collar on board already and that the dog's getting it with pressure already and kind of getting things is such an awesome foundation. And the big thing to remember is you have nothing but time with this dog. You know what I mean? Just take your time. You have nothing but time because the dog's so young. So spend time, still hold it accountable, but just do a ton of reps, and then it'll get to a certain point where you're like, all right, now's the time to hold you accountable.
Yeah. No, that sounds good.
Cool?
Yeah.
All right. Thanks. Good
You
luck.
didn't even need any help. I did indeed.
Good. Sit. Oh wait, you're already sitting. Paw. Good boy. Get blau. Good boy. That's what wakes me up in the morning at 4:30.
Oh man.
What? Choice.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to bed at like 9:30. I wanted to die when I had to go.
I don't think we had a problem.
Please don't get that on the mic.
I won't. I'm just bummed out that like half of it went elsewhere.
Come here, guys. Get out of here. Get.
He knows that those are supposed to end.
Oh my god.
Don't you end.
Stop.
Are you calling him?
No. Get out of here. It's the best part of the cookie.
It's because you got the brownie heated up and keep it.
Is that what it is?
Please don't get that on the mic. I'm begging you.
Do you know how little damage I've done to any of your stuff?
You've dropped my mic 3 times.
Has it ever been hurt?
It will be in the long run.
That's a great attitude.
Cookie monster. Okay.
Real quick,
Yo.
who does Henri go to?
Do we know? She has a group of friends that she goes to Disneyland with.
I'm assuming. I think she has a friend.
What's that?
She has a lot of
And
friends.
I'm pretty sure she has other friends.
Does she have a lot of friends?
Of course.
She's on leave.
It's on me. How
Who
could
was
she?
on leave, friend?
That's why Shelby wants to go home. She misses her friends.
Aren't you gonna miss us?
Yes. But y'all are buying houses, right?
She's like, y'all are gonna come visit, right? I'm like, just a little bit. No. Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be a while before the houses are down there, but
Especially if he keeps looking at cars online. All right.
whose team are you on? Okay,
Question number 3. This comes from
don't mind my snacking.
Giselle Bunchen.
I've been waiting for her to get a hold of us.
Giselle says, I have 2 pitties, one of whom is a foster and one of whom is my own. With my own dog, I've taught him plenty with the prong, and though it helped, I decided to finally buy a mini educator. But now, with 2 collars to help the lack of balance each have, but now she has 2 collars, so she bought a mini educator with 2 collars, which culminated recently with
Double system.
with a resource guarding fight. So they've gotten in a fight. However, I'm noticing that on my recent walk, heavy distraction from barking dogs, I had to crank up to a 40 to 45 to get any modification, and still my dog wouldn't hold a heel. What do you recommend? My dog, the one I own, has some bad people aggression, mostly protective resource around me, and I'm afraid to damage him and cause increased aggression. I just got laid off, so my recent splurge on the mini educators was a huge hit for me financially, and unfortunately I cannot afford private sessions.
So, okay,
Giselle.
Miss Bunchen. Okay, I've got some notes for you. As you know, I would. Or as you knew I would. So we've got 2 pitties fighting, some reactivity, resource guarding, and you're scared to hurt your dog. I'm glad you got the mini educator. Great tool. Sorry it broke the bank, but it's a really great e-collar. My hope is that it's a powerful enough e-collar for the dog that you have specifically. There are plenty of dogs that come in here. I'd say 95% of the dogs that we deal with, you probably heard, work on mini educators by e-collar tech, but there's a handful of them that blow through it, that don't care about it, and they work on the e-collar tech Boss 800. So let's talk about this. For one, it's not unusual that you had to dial, you said to 40 or 45 for major reactivity, like walking through like the jungle of dog reactivity, like dogs barking everywhere and your dog was getting worked up, and you had to roll up to 40 or 45 to, like you said, to get some modification. I'm assuming that's some kind of buy-in, some kind of your dog being aware and stuff like that, right? But that's super not unusual, especially with drivey, like pittie dogs, things like that. It can be various other dogs, but a lot of these pitties, they like, that stuff starts going and they're going, the adrenaline's going, the way they feel about the collar on the neck goes out the window.
Yeah.
We've had tiny pitties, big pitties that, you know, both of them work on like 1, 2, 3. Then we've had the same exact size pitties and they work on 60, 70, 80, and they need to go to bosses and they work at higher levels on those. It's such an individual game. So I want you, for one, to hold on to this. The Mini Educator is a soft collar. It's a collar made for small dogs, but everybody uses them for almost every dog, all the trainers I know. But it's a soft collar. It's not made for major conversations for dogs with high drive and major stubbornness. So if you're at 40, 45 on a Mini Educator, you have to take it you have to take it with a grain of salt and with some perspective about that. You're using a very soft collar, so 40 or 45 is really not like some extreme level, right? So that's one thing to think about. Second, it's the old saw. Any good dog trainer will tell you the same thing, and that's forget about the number. Just forget about the number and watch your dog. So when we're out training dogs and working with reactivity stuff, basically if I ask any of them or they ask me what levels that either of us are at, usually we don't know.
Yeah, we're not like, oh, I know I was at a 25.
No, here's the e-collar, we're doing our work, working with the dog, watching the dog, making sure everything's great, and then it's like, where are you? Oh, I'm at 25. Okay, so.
And now if you're moving up on the dial without looking, you're not like cranking it all the way up. You're moving it with like slow increments, which typically go from about 5 to 10 when you move up. So we're watching it in the way that we know we're not cranking up without looking, but we know that there's some slow increment stuff going on.
So really good point. I mean, when I say watch your dog, I don't mean watch your dog like burst into flames. Right? A certain amount of self-restraint, intelligence, sensitivity, tuning into your dog, absolutely essential. But what happens and what hampers most people is they start looking at numbers and they're worried that they're going to
45, this is it.
He works at 5 in the house, but I'm at 45 on the walk. Yeah, it's because what your dog needs on the walk. Because your dog is out of its mind because he's so aroused and so freaked out. So let's let go of any check afterwards and see what numbers you're at, so it'll give you some perspective of where you might want to dial up to in the future, give you a good jumping off point. But I really want you to let go of, I'm at 45 and I think I'm damaging my dog, which is what we're getting into now, right? So, well, actually, I'm going to say a couple other things right before we get into that, and that is correct earlier. It's the other old saw, right? So we have this saying called too low, too slow. And what that basically means is a gazillion, a billion owners, what they do is they wait too long, a second or two even, and then they correct too low. And they might feel, I was pretty quick on it, and the level seems pretty good, but what they don't realize is the reaction from their dog tells them something totally different. the goal is beat your dog to the emotional escalation point. So you're out on the walk, you know your dog's getting into a space where something's going to get his goose or get his goat or cook his goose, right? Cook his goat. And
Goat cooks
right, right, the goat cooks goose. And what you want to do is you want to be ready. There's a dog down the street. Boom, roll up, I'm ready. The second that you see your dog go like that, no. Just like that. Then you start creating some inhibition about choices, and that can really change things dramatically. So earlier corrections, higher levels, get away from the emotionality. Now, you're not going to damage your dog by correcting at firmer levels, right? Here's something else that I want people to really wrap their heads around, is that he said, if I'm not mistaken, 2 pitties, fights, reactivity. I can't remember if you've got stuff with like human stuff or anything like that.
She's got human aggression with the one that she owns on walks.
Perfect.
Or more like territorial sort of stuff. Yeah.
Gotcha. So here's the deal. Guess what? Your dog's already feeling shitty about that stuff. Right? Your dog's already feeling uncomfortable about people, about dogs, about whatever triggers. You're not going to make your dog work. Your dog's already in the bad space. It's time to move him out of that space. But what I'm getting the feeling of, and I could be wrong, and you can correct me if I'm wrong and tell me to kiss your behind, but my feeling is that there's a lot of emotionality wrapped up in this, and that it's preventing you from being able to serve your dog at the highest level with the corrections and the information and the approach that your dog needs to be able to like nip it in the bud or in the butt, depending if you're talking to Tony, and have your dog de-escalate. And if you don't do that, and if you feel nervous, you feel uncomfortable, you feel bad, my dog yelped, whatever it is, you're never going to be able to help your dog move through that process. He's going to cycle and stay stuck. I promise you, we see it all the time. The only way to break, I don't like that person, I don't like that dog, I don't like these people coming in, is to create a consequence for that choice that's valuable enough for your dog to say, you know what, I'm good. I'm going to just go sit on place and relax. Now, if you're too afraid to find that level that works, you guys will probably be stuck and struggle with that stuff. So, like I said, check in with where your emotions and your affection are at. It's very rare for us to find dogs that are being protective and possessive, and we talked about it earlier, that aren't having a lot of access to personal space, a ton of freedom in the house, lots of affection, and lots of heart stuff. Even if you don't touch them a million times a day, the heart stuff. Dogs see how you look at them, how you feel about them. It's all crystal clear. Don't look at them, but put a blinder on. But
it's so weird how that works. It's so weird. We'll have owners that like correct dogs, and they feel bad about it, and they have to use higher levels because they feel bad about it. It's
Isn't that fascinating?
The dog just feels a softness. It's like if you get in trouble as a kid or something, and you can tell the mom or dad who's yelling at you or giving you a punishment or whatever, like really kind of almost really doesn't mean it.
Feels uncomfortable with it.
Yeah, you feel a little bit less, it doesn't have the same impact.
It's not as potent, no.
Even though they're saying the same things or have the same tone or whatever.
Isn't that fascinating?
We got to wrap up, but basically I wanted to mention, I would just want to make sure that relationship stuff's going down. Your dog shouldn't be, your pittie, who you're bringing fosters into your home, should not be protective over you. And you should definitely be, I assume you are, but you should be walking these dogs separate. You should be locking that pittie down. There should be no free roaming with the two of them if they've already gotten in a fight.
Yeah.
You're going to put that other dog in danger, and that other dog has to go to a home eventually. So if that other dog, because of your dog who might have possessive stuff over you, goes after that other dog because of some weird resource stuff or whatever, you could scar that other dog for life. Like, we don't know the situation. We don't know what each of the dogs have going on. I'm sure they both have their stuff, but man, you hold a pretty strong responsibility taking a dog into your house.
It doesn't take that many incidents for things to generalize into bad stuff.
For dogs to be like, you know what, I don't trust dogs because that dog I lived with for 3 months or whatever cleaned my clock every time I got near,
Yeah.
So just be cautious with all that stuff. I would suggest full lockdown with that,
I agree.
with your dog.
I agree. And then the last thing that I already kind of mentioned, but I want to really hammer it home. Your dog already is uncomfortable.
Right.
Let's get out of the mindset of like correcting him, because your exact words were, I don't want to damage him. I don't want to make his aggression worse.
Right.
It's already there. The only way you make aggression worse or damage a dog is wait until he's exploding and then start correcting. Then you just lift him up and make him worse.
Right.
That's why I just told you everything I told you about. Like Laura was saying, lock him down, create leverage, get the state of mind right, listening, respectful, all that. Come when I call you, lay down, don't move, blah, 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 walk just like this.
Yep.
And if you do something I don't like, I'm gonna correct you, I'm gonna be firm, I'm not gonna feel bad about it, I'm gonna help you move through the process.
Absolutely. All right. Good luck with everything.
Keep us posted.
Question number 4. I'm ready for it.
Right? Do you need a second bat for weight to like swing, get ready?
Okay, so question number 4 comes from Alexandra, or Allie.
You guys got like a whole thing.
Yeah, she actually contacted us for training a while back. She, as she says in here, she couldn't really afford training at the time, but I talked to her a lot about like what free videos to watch, you know, all that stuff, and she took it and ran with it and has really kicked butt with her dog.
Nice.
Her dog who's like human aggressive guy, so I love her. She's on my Periscope and stuff, so she's a cool one.
Awesome.
Probably should become a dog trainer. Okay, she says, hey guys, Laura knows a lot of the heartbreaking but ultimately triumphant context to my struggle with my human aggressive Tino that I rescued from East Valley early this year.
How bad he was?
Pretty bad. He bit her family a couple times. Let me see. Just want to make sure.
You good?
Cool. Yeah.
Bit family members?
Bit family members, bit her dad. I can't remember if he bit her. I don't think so. But he's like a shepherd. If I remember correctly, he's a shepherd mix, but has had some dicey stuff going.
Okay. And was this through the www.lauramorgan.com training?
No. She called to book training with us. Yeah. And we talked about she was going to put it on hold, basically.
But you kind of helped her out and coached her a little bit?
Told her to go to the website and check out videos, and she's really run with it.
Awesome.
She has been sideline cheering me on my YouTube do-it-yourself rehab journey that I could only work through on weekends with varying follow-through during the week because he was living with my parents due to her roommate situation, housing kind of situation. He's prong and e-collar trained now, and we've made an immense state of mind and obedience progress in the last 3 months, and I'm so proud of him. I'm thrilled to report that we finally found a home, and he will officially be living with me again. Any tips for what I can do to make the transition a smooth one? He will be moving back in with me in December when I'm off on break from work. So I need to resist the temptation to spending every waking moment doing fun things with him only to just shock his system by going back to work and leaving him at home in this new place after the holiday. Any thoughts on how to structure that time so he can adjust and I can help set him up for success when I ultimately leave him home? Thank you for all your time, resources, and support. You truly saved our lives and continue to daily.
Nice work on your part, lady.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, she's a badass.
Did you just kind of like email and support her through that?
She's actually just gone on Periscope and stuff and like asked her, like she's checked in. Like any of you guys, you know, check in. I can't promise get right back to you, but like Allie's basically like checked in. She sent emails and said like, hey, I'm doing this right now, and we had an incident going on here, but I'm working through it. Just wanted to keep you updated, and eventually one day maybe we'll do training with you guys. You know, she's just kind of like kept us up on stuff. So she's just been a badass, and I've loved watching it.
What area is she in?
She's here in LA.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, she's
Nice work.
great.
Awesome.
So, Allie, I would say with Mr. Tino,
Is it black?
yes, I would say that you.
He's not gonna feel that, right?
I would say that you do 6 to Cujo. He's like.
He's like, did a
Debris
mosquito just land on me?
So, you need to. I mean, it feels like the theme of the day, but structure, lady. Fun stuff you can do. You can do a little fun stuff per day. You know, go do something fun, take them hiking, whatever you want to do. But man, the rest of the time, if you want a dog that you can leave, go to work, have it not be this weird adjustment period, but also just like good for him, especially getting out of your parents' house and coming to live with you. This is the time that I want you to really be doing like a lockdown kind of board and train with him. So he sleeps in the crate. He's in the crate when you're gone. Those are givens, right? When you're home, I don't think you're getting a yard. I assume you're probably just getting like an apartment. You know, take him on a couple walks a day. Make sure they're structured walks. If you're taking him like to a park on the long line or something like that, you can do that for fun. But the main thing is when you're home, he's working. He's in place. He's in a down. When you're not home, he's crated. You just want consistency and structure. And that's not to not have fun with him. You can definitely have fun with him. You can do your stuff. But if you want it to be a seamless thing when you go back to work, you have to make it predictable for him now. And that doesn't mean like you have to take a walk or feed him the same time every day or whatever it is. But we just want like when he's home, he's working. When you're gone, he's in the crate resting. When you're out on a walk, he's doing a great walk. When you're out doing like fun stuff, it's actually kind of some structured fun. So that's really the best way to make a transition.
As you were saying that, all that came through my head was why that stuff is so valuable. Because I'm always trying to figure out how to better explain why structure and things like that are so valuable. But if you think about it this way, and you said it really nicely, and so it just kind of clicked, was that if you're doing all of the stuff that Laura just said, there's no room for mistakes.
Yeah.
So if you think about it this way, this is kind of cool. If I just say so myself, it just all kind of came to me. If all you can do is succeed, if all your dog can do is succeed and make the right choices and move forward, you're kind of rocking and rolling, right? So that's why the structure is so important, because you start to eliminate and pull pieces away, and then your dog is in the backyard barking at the fence, or your dog is like, you're in the office and your dog is at the front window barking out the window, loading up on all sorts of old behaviors and practicing them and things like that. But if you really think about what Laura said and structuring the heck out of your dog's day, not forever, but for right now, it's pretty fascinating, pretty amazing what this can give you, which is basically a foolproof way to help your dog go from here to here without giving him opportunities to make mistakes, because you're basically controlling everything. And that's kind of a pretty profound insight for any of you guys that are trying to figure out what's this structure crap all about, and the rules and the accountability and how do they work together and why do they work. But I think that to me just became very, very clear.
Totally. There is no room for error. And that's why when clients go home from the good dog, from being board and trains, we give them such strict structure. Not because we wanted to be drill sergeants, but because we don't want room for error at the start. We don't want them to come away from this really structured environment here, take them home, and there's black gray area where the owners can be like, well, should I or shouldn't I? We want it to be really black and white so that there really is no room for error. And maybe it's trainers love to bother us about all the structure and all this stuff.
Yeah, except our dogs do really well.
Yeah, that's the thing. And dogs love it. And you can still have a ton of fun with them within that play structure, within that structure,
Kiss my behind, all you dog trainers that are hassling us about a program that works really well for dog owners.
And
you get the raspberry.
And I know for a fact with me and with you as well, I have structure with my guys, but they're at this point they're not in place all day.
No.
Far from that.
Yeah. It's pretty lax.
Tons of fun, and even our walks are we walk to the park and they go crazy off leash and they do their thing. We're not taking an hour structure and they only get 3 bathroom breaks. It's I don't do any of that.
That's
stuff.
how you build. That's you're building a pyramid.
Yeah.
That's how you build the foundation of your pyramid, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and better and better.
They sleep in the backyard at night. Herc might sleep on Herc is rarely crated. This is kind of the promised land, but that's because they're not doing anything wrong, right?
Yeah.
So you got Tino who's moving to your place You've got to keep him in a good space. You can't go backwards. It's so cool because right now, this is really like your time, Allie. It's so cool. You get to like really get your dog back and really do your thing. I think he did bite you. I can't remember. But you guys need to like, whatever it is, this relationship is like just starting because it's the first time that you're actually just going to be living with him alone. So
Yeah.
I would literally treat it like a boarding train.
What's Tino's attitude like?
I would love to meet Tino.
What's your take?
I think Tino's been allowed a lot of things at the parents' house, and she
By
be
the
right behind
parents?
that. Yeah, just because they're not like trainers. They did so well trying to keep things up.
Yeah.
But they were like, "This is a dog. What are we talking about?" But
Yeah.
he was trouble, and I think he's a bratty guy.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
It seemed like that was coming.
I think Allie would agree. So
All I can think about is Duke. No, is it Duke? Alexis's dog.
oh really? Yeah. Duke, yeah.
I don't know why. Like, not a bad dog,
Right.
but a dog that's definitely got like a pushy
Some
agenda
stuff.
and,
Yeah.
you know, a little like a very strong-minded bratty thing.
Yeah.
So
This would probably be a little, yeah. I bet Tino's like yeah, there's some examples I could think of that are definitely just in my brain, like kind of going over. But I don't think he's that bad. I don't think
you
like
seen
in
video?
the long run. No, but I've
No.
seen some pictures.
okay.
So
Is he glaring at the pictures?
no, he just looks like he's a little bratty. But
Okay.
you're gonna do great. So just rock and roll that. Tons of structure. Just do it for the entire month of December or whatever it is, and just rock it out.
Sounds good.
All right.
All right, Alexandra, go kick some butt.
Yeah. Question number 5
Yeah.
comes from Instagram. High fives for canines.
Yes.
Hi, Sean and Laura. This post is a godsend. I really need some advice. I'm a trainer in Canada, currently working with a street dog from Mongolia. He was flown over here by a rescuer at 4 months old
Yeah.
and adopted by a family who are cringe first dog owners. Oh, perfect family to adopt a wild dog from another country. The first problems were extreme anxiety, charging visitors who enter the house, and then resource guarding of food when around their kids in the kitchen. It's just so bizarre. I'm sorry, but there's so many dogs here that need homes. So many. This isn't against you, high five, but yeah, right? His notes echo. It just bothers me.
Yeah.
Not that these dogs aren't worth. I'm sure there's great dogs that come, but it's like that's a lot of effort.
A hell of a lot of effort. And I always wonder about people that are like, and this is no judgment, but people taking dogs with like very special circumstances, if there's a buy-in about the kind of like attention that might go along with it. Well, but I mean, some people might feel like, well, these are dogs that have absolutely no chance. So I
Yeah.
really want to help. And I think some people, just like they do with like wolf hybrids and things like that,
Yeah.
let's have a really exotic story that goes along with our dog. Not that that's your situation,
No.
but you know, it's something to think about.
It's just hard because you get a street dog, who's
Does everybody know what that means? Street dogs mean dogs that have not been living with humans
Yeah,
for the most part.
and a lot of times don't like humans.
Yes, a lot of them are feral.
Yeah.
You know, Jeff's got a feral dog, and he's had Jeff's a great trainer, and he's had Autumn for several years. He still can't interact with her. He still can't
She's not interested. She's not like, I wish I had.
That's the whole thing with the feral dog
Yeah.
is there's no connection to
No,
I
they're
want to
like,
be with you. They're
no.
like, I want to be away from you.
Yeah, I want to be with other dogs
Yeah.
or alone. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. You see so many dogs here. So I had them teach in place and hope they could utilize the crate, leash tie it back if needed, and remote collar. Problem is he absolutely fights the crate. Great. They used a Garmin bark collar on him.
It gets better and better, right?
At level 6 one night while he was crated, and he blew through 22 corrections. Wow. And he now lunges at them to intimidate when they go to correct him or send him to place. He's neutered. I feel like his issues go back to his breeding. He looks like a dingo and acts feral. The family exercises him, and he walks like a dream but growls at strangers. Bratty behavior with the family. I also want to mention that the mini
That's
educator...
a dream with an asterisk.
Right. That's so true.
He walks like a dream.
With a
He
foot.
bites people occasionally.
Exactly. I'm sorry, guys. You're just uncomfortable with this. I'm working him this weekend on the remote collar and correcting him at level 100 for his non-negotiable behaviors. Sometimes takes a couple. My worry is he's just not suited for a family setting unless there's major training and upheaval. Is there a point where you can say a certain dog shouldn't be a family pet? He's 7 months and he pees inside his crate when he's in protest.
I used to do that a lot back in preschool. Okay, lordy. Now we can both tackle this. I have some notes.
Yes.
So let me jump through the notes. Anything that jumps out for you, you jump in.
Sure.
A lot of jumping.
Yep.
And then at the end, when I've jumped out, you can jump back in.
Jump back in.
Okay. So high five for canines. All right. So we've got. I'm just gonna I know Laura just read this, but listen. But listen. Here's what we've got. Street dog from Mongolia. First-time owners. Eek. We've got high anxiety. We've got charging guests. We've got resource guarding against the kids. For me, straight away, first-time owners with kids and a dog that's behaving with all of these different behaviors. Any dog in that space, to me, is for one, probably shouldn't be a family pet. Mm-hmm. He's probably not set up for it. Now, for a family pet with kids, boy, is that an incredibly dangerous proposition. Yeah. And one of the things I'm going to jump around a little bit, but one of the things I want you to think about is you do all your work, you do all your training, and the clients do all their work. 6 months later, you get a call that there's been a massive face bite on a 6-year-old, 9-year-old, 10-year-old, whatever the child is, whatever the age. And now you've got to live with that. I know trainers that have done aggression work and things like that have pulled away from it because not the recourse, but the fallout of having done your best and then having a child take the heat for a dog being a dog that was just not a good fit, and actually mauling or disfiguring or traumatizing.
Incredible responsibility that comes with
I mean, if you're talking about an adult and they're like, I'm down for this.
Yeah, I've been wanting to do this. I want a challenge dog.
It's still scary, but very different dynamic.
Yeah.
You bring kids on board and all of a sudden it becomes if you've got really great parents, hopefully they stand up and they're like, my kids are more important than this freaking dog. But beyond that, it's really important and it's imperative for the trainer to step in and be the voice of wisdom and be kind of the doctor in the situation and say this is what we're seeing from your dog. These are all dangerous behaviors, and I do not feel comfortable having this dog in your home. Yep. And one of the things that we see over and over and over again, and I'm not saying it's you, but one of the things we see over and over and over again, besides Cujo getting corrected, is trainers trying to go above and beyond and prove what they can do. That every dog deserves a shot at a transformation. Every dog's got it in him to be, super dog or amazing dog or far better dog or not a dangerous dog or whatever it is. I'm not saying it's you, but boy, is that a really common thing where trainers' egos start to trump the reality and the danger levels. And that is a really, really hazardous place to get into. You want to be in a space where money, reputation, and your reputation should be in a solid place because you're making smart choices rather than the reputation of they sent this dog back into a home where a child was bitten. You have to be really conscious and cognizant of all of that stuff and how that's going to ultimately long-term affect your reputation as a trainer. You get one child bitten on the face, that's a hard one to come back from. I'm just telling you, that's a hard one to come back from. So I'm gonna just cover a few things and then both of us will close it up, right?
It's just a great reminder to think about that stuff. I don't think I don't think a lot of trainers consciously think about like, oh, I want to be the hero here.
No.
But they're just like, oh, I was hired to do a job, so I need to fix this. I think a lot of that happens. I know.
Pressure.
Yeah, you're just like, oh, I want to make sure that like they get what they're
You
you
want to
probably know the
help.
family, you want
Yeah.
to help them. So it may not be even like an ego thing. It might just be like, oh, I've got to do my job. I know I can get through to this dog. But you have to remember, like, once you're out of the picture, the family has to take care of it. Unless you're going to move in with the family, you've got to make sure that it's something sustainable, you know?
And what's the primary difference between her and the family?
Or, yeah, whoever this is, the trainer.
Yeah.
It's a trainer.
Yeah, yeah. I know that's like a really obvious thing.
Yeah.
But I asked Laura to say that because it's really right on the money.
Yeah.
The difference is you're a freaking trainer.
Yeah.
These people are just family
like, oh,
members.
I just wanted a dog.
And like maybe I wanted a dog with an exotic past or
Right.
whatever. But like your job, I'm such a firm believer in this. In that, like with dog training, dog trainers get into a lot of disempowered places. Not saying it's you, but a lot of dog trainers get into a disempowered place. Dog trainers need to get into a space where they are the doctors, where they prescribe the right method, the right approach, the right tools, the right medication if needed, the right structure, the right home to get out of, all of that stuff. Your job needs to sometimes be the unpopular one that says like, hey, I know this is not what you guys wanted, but like, I have to make sure that I tell you what I think is dangerous.
Yep.
And what, like, I'd rather a client hate me. I'd rather a client be pissed off at me and take a dog out of their home than have a child take a serious face bite or some other traumatic injury or something like
Beyond.
that, right?
Yep.
It's just like, I'll wear that. I'm happy to wear that, and I don't mean like in a hero way, but boy, it's just my responsibility, your responsibility, all of our responsibility. So
We go much more kind of black and white when it comes to like kid situations
Absolutely.
and stuff like that. So
Absolutely.
Don't even mess with it. Yeah.
okay, so let me wrap this up. So yes, this sounds like a terrible, dangerous fit, right?
Yeah.
If you ask me, it sounds like a dangerous
Dog's
fit.
only 7 months.
Right.
We're not talking
And
about like a 3-year-old dog, but like
street dog.
Yeah.
Not probably any kind of real socialization, any kind of like early interactions, maybe even not fully domesticated, all of that stuff, right? So terrible, dangerous situation, don't like it. With kids, you've got zero room for error, right? I'm just like, an adult gets bit on the leg, one thing, kids, they're always like face level with the
Yeah.
dog. It's bad, bad, bad.
incredible irresponsible decision by the rescue
Yep.
to do that. So that should be an easy give back. if
Yeah,
you will.
absolutely. So, okay, so the last few kind of points here is that this is really a dog that should live with a trainer. Like, if a trainer wants a dog that's like more challenging and exotic and has a history that's like, whew, we really got to get our ducks in a row to see what we can do with this dog, and like really wants to take on a challenge, that's great. Typical families, that's not what they're not put on the planet, but that's not what they're
Looking for.
That's not what they're looking for in a
Yeah.
dog situation. They're looking for dogs to be part of the family, incorporated, increase their quality of life rather than decrease it, increase their safety and enjoyment and pleasure rather than decrease all that stuff. So this is a dog that should be living with maybe you, but not a dog I feel that should be living with kids, and I haven't seen the dog. Laura hasn't seen the dog,
Yeah.
so it's always
All
challenging.
roads are pointing to
Yeah, it's challenging, and I don't want to be irresponsible and be like, this dog can't be there. But the other part, and we kind of hit on this earlier, is that there's so many great, safe, amazing freaking dogs out there waiting for homes that are going to be put down. Dogs that live here in the States,
Yep.
you know. Belle, Manny, and Hercules, and all of these guys that are like, you know, rescue dogs that are like thrown away dogs, and they're the safest dogs in the world. Like, I would,
They would add so much to a family, not detract.
absolutely, like to have a dog, you don't have to worry about biting your kids or guests. The stress levels that come from that, you know, like having polar bear.
Yeah.
I know from early stages with
And
Junior
it doesn't
and
mean they have to
Oakley.
be perfect. You're gonna get if there are other
course.
dogs that could be jumping on the furniture. There could be tons of stuff going on. But man, you don't want a dog that like is that much of like we're talking the next 15 years of their life.
Yeah.
It's a brand new dog to them.
Yep. So last point is I just want to share our experience, and that's a recent experience from us. A client in New Orleans had a dog named Ace, and Ace has a very kind of similar situation to this. Ace was one of like 6 or 8 dogs that were pulled from a trash dump, and basically feral dogs that were just kind of living off the fat of the land and doing their thing.
Yeah, I hadn't had human interactions earlier.
They caught all the dogs. All of them died or were put to sleep for behavioral issues, which we found out later, except for Ace. Ace was a small black, like kind of pocket pittie mix thing. Ace went into a family with kids, multiple kids, I think 3 little girls and lots of friends that come over. Ace is nervous, fearful, and was highly proactive in his responses when pressured, to a point that was, like, for experienced trainers even, somewhat scary, right? So I actually flew down to New Orleans for one day to go look at this dog to see, like, is it really that bad? You know, our trainer Cambry was working with the dog, and he was going after her daily. This is a dog living with kids, right? And so I went down and I was like, let me work with this guy, and he was like doing okay. I could tell he's tentative, nervous, and then boom, something happened, a little too much pressure,
Feral
something like that.
Yeah.
And the amount of response was so freaky, so dangerous. And all I could think about was a little girl walking up and hugging a dog, stepping on his tail, waking him up, touching him in a way he didn't want, crawling up face to face. And this was not a dog that like would just snap or bite. He would go in and he'd go in and go in and go in. And so we did the hard stuff, made the hard call, and we recommended that dog not be in that home, which was heartbreaking because they loved the dog and the dog had done really well with them. And but we made the call that the kids, I would rather, it's hard stuff, but all of us talked together and we decided we'd rather pull this dog out of the house, be absolutely safe, and make sure no kids are injured, and the dog ends up, you know, actually having a really great home. But now they get to bring a dog into their home they don't have to worry about. Because I was like, well, even if your kids are okay, what about when Jimmy comes over and your dog's not familiar with Jimmy, and Jimmy does something dumb and Jimmy gets bitten in the face multiple times. So that all said, I just want to share that with you so you know that you're not the only one. But I honestly, sorry about the mic, I honestly feel it's our responsibility, like doctors of the dog world, to articulate and clearly, authentically, transparently share what we truly feel about the dog, not to like keep the business, keep the money, keep the client happy, but to do what's very, very best for the family, for the dog, for the kids, for everybody. And it's a huge responsibility. People can get killed. I hate to be like so like macabre and like depressing, but like dogs can kill people, you know. So like let's keep all this stuff. This is going to end up on a nice light ending line. But this is a really important one, and I'm okay for this to go a little bit long. Her question was, and let me tie it up with this. Her question was, are there any dogs that are not fit for families? The answer is abso-freaking-lutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. There's plenty of dogs that do not belong in family homes. So that's not a failure on your part. That is a dog that's been probably genetically or experientially compromised and flown over from another country, and God knows what he lived like, and now he's in a freaking family home. So anyways,
help them out, find something better for them.
Be a steward for them. Help steer them in a direction towards safety.
Good luck, and please check in. We'd love to hear.
And we're not ninnies. Like dogs that have problems, we're not like, they're all, get rid of them. But like, this is too much.
This is too much for a family.
All
right, we gotta wrap up.
Go.
Thanks, guys. Thank you so much. 110 episodes in.
Could be the last one.
Could be the last for a while.
We'll see. All right, you guys.
Bye.
Take care. See ya. Mm.